Okay, so welcome everyone to the webinar series. We had already a first round of webinars last year in October, and now we are running the second one. Yesterday we had a session dedicated to nature-based solutions for rural communities. And today we have a session or a webinar dedicated to enabling transformative governance for nature-based solutions. We have today with us four colleagues, four speakers that will share with us their experiences with transformative governance. Can you see my screen? But
Yes.
only the
Yes.
first. Oh, now it's working. Okay, good. So we will have with us from Periférico, University of Brasilia, Beatriz Vicentin, Bruno Venâncio from Governo Aberto, from the Municipality of São Paulo. So two speakers that will be sharing with us their experiences from Brazil, and then who are our associated partners, and who we have been in dialogue in these North-South dialogues. Then we will also have Lionel from the city of Brussels, who the city of Brussels is coordinating a pilot case and also an assessment case. And also we have Dorotea Ottaviani from Sapienza University, and she will be telling us about her experience with the Roma pilot. So we have I'm very much looking forward for hearing your experiences on this topic. And maybe if that's okay for you, we could start with Beatriz. Beatriz, it would be good for you to be the first one.
Yes,
Yeah.
I made a presentation. Can I share it?
Yes, of course. I would just briefly present you to the colleagues. So you, Beatriz, holds a degree in architecture and urbanism. She's part of the research and extension group Periférico, Trabalhos Emergentes, so sort of emerging works, which works on urban tactics, social technology, and innovation in peripheral territories on the Federal District. Her interests include technical assistance in architecture and urbanism, sustainability, water resources, nature-based solutions, social housing, and the right to the city. Thank you so much, Beatriz, for joining us today, and the floor is yours.
Thank you. I'll just make my presentation. I think everybody's seeing it.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Right.
Now we can see it. Yes.
Okay. For me, it was showing since the beginning that I was sharing. Let me see if it's working. It is working.
Yeah, it is working.
Okay.
Good.
So the project that I'm gonna show today, né, we developed in Sol Nascente. It's nature-based solution in urban peripheries. Em trecho 2 do Sol Nascente, Rio em Brasília, inclusive change of urban peripheries let me see, to climate change Periferia Viva progress. It was an extension project. We did it in conjunction with the Ministry of City Secretary, yes, and the Secretaria Nacional das Periferias, National Secretary of Peripheries. And we had the TRANS-lighthouses as a partner in the project that we had it had the point, like it had the objective of bringing nature-based solutions to peripheries here in Brazil. We had like all the projects that we do in Periférico. We had a big team since we work as a technical and a community team. So we had a team built inside the university from multiple areas. We had architecture and urbanism, but we also had people from engineering and engenharia ambiental. I don't know if it's ambience engineering, but it's like engineering that deals with the infrastructure. And we had also the graduation students, undergrad students, grad students, professors, and a whole community behind us. So, Sol Nascente is located in the periphery of Brasilia, circa 30 kilometers from the Rodoviária, which is in the center of the Plano Piloto. The location has a history of occupation that began with a city called Ceilândia, and Sol Nascente was an occupation that happened without the government assistance. So it was just people occupying a place that was originally urban, a rural area. It started in circa 1990, and as we can see in here, it got quite big. We work primarily in two areas that are called trechos. It's the division that happened inside. We work primarily in two, and then this specific project was located in trecho 2, which is this one right here, the middle one. And these localities, they are separated by geographical landmarks. They're separated by rivers and by chapadas. There's like, I forgot the name, sorry. And then we work in trecho 2, which is the pink one. So the territory, it is marked by risks that are aggravated by climate change. Because it is an urban occupation, it doesn't have a planning developed, and it was an urban rural area that received the waters that came from Ceilândia. The project of Ceilândia, it was made the hydrological project, so the waters would go to the rural area of Sol Nascente. Since Sol Nascente became urban, now that place can deal with the water that comes running from Ceilândia, that comes because it was planned to infiltrate in that region, that now can't infiltrate anymore. Because of that, it is a place that suffers with rain. This street is like one of the main ones, and it becomes like a water slide when there's heavy rain, because the water comes at a high speed. And that water causes erosions further down the location, like this example in the right. This is the erosion that culminates after all that water came from this water slide. And images here in the bottom that shows how the water floods and how the city isn't prepared, because it doesn't have, until last year, it didn't even have like the proper planning, the proper project to receive the waters. So it wasn't as asphaltated. It didn't have how to receive those waters. It just came and went inside the houses and caused problems. Because of that, we started working specifically with the risk reduction with the purpose of risk reduction. And we began that in 2023 with a course that we did with some of the community so they could learn how to deal with it. And then we did a Plano Comunitário de Redução de Riscos e Adaptação Climática. It's a community plan of risk reduction and climate adaptation that we did in conjunction with the government. And we did it for two of the trechos, the ones that were most undeveloped. We did that in 2004. And now in 2025, we are doing the project, the SBN nas Periferias, nature-based solution in the peripheries. And that is the project that we had the support from TRANS-lighthouses. And the continuation of that partnership between the Secretary of Peripheries and the Laboratório focused on enabling a technical community workshop to implement a prototype of nature-based solution. So we did 2 publications on the previous work, and now the formation workshop to build, to learn and essentially build. We did a practice to build a rain garden. And it is important to note that all of these projects, they are based on the doctor thesis by Lisa Andrade, that is the coordinator from Periférico. And we worked based on the drawing of water, that is a water sensitive design for cities developed in her doctorate. So we did a workshop that had 6 modules, initially we had 6, eventually we did 7 because we had the opportunity to accommodate an extra date, so we thought it would be better, but initially was planned to be 6 modules. And the intervention project focused on an area that was in connection with a school that we work, is the Escola Classe P Norte. So we had the support of the community from the school as a place to hold the classes for the workshop, and also to work together with the professors to teach the children and to contact the families together with the school. We made a project we planned 3 rain gardens. Let me get my pen. It was in here and 2 in front of the school. This was the rain gardens that we proposed that we would build during the workshop, but we also planned that in this middle area would be biovaletas and also rain gardens to connect and further improve the water management of the city. So in here we also connected, and the project, if you can see it right here, it even goes further down the road. But in this project specific, the workshop, we just built the first 3 rain gardens, and we're gonna wait. So now we're trying to keep the project with the community and other partners. So we began the implementation, right, of the rain gardens. We did soil tests. We did the project, the technical project, the images so we could show our partners and we could show the community so they could better understand what we're aiming for, and the technical details of the garden, since we need to also buy all the materials. We did the best we could to really get technical with it and follow the project after. Also, so the project can after be replicated in other cities and other communities. The workshop, we had 3 theoretical classes where we learned about rain gardens, how to build rain gardens. They learned about nature-based solutions, the importance of nature-based solutions, how they can be done with the community, how to identify them, how to approach the government, how to approach entities. So we cover a lot in the project. And we did the projects of Periférico. We constantly work with the community, understanding that the community has also knowledge to share. So we often do in those workshops, we do practical activities, so the community can also share what they know and do the and learning it. So, for example, in these images, it was the community identifying where they see nature-based solutions that naturally occur in the city. And here they are working together to propose the bigger project for the city and the region of São Vicente. And also we did a presentation showing the difference that we can have with the rain garden and absorption of water according to the construction that we did. So we did a few projects of that. And then we eventually went to build the rain gardens. So we had various partners who also donated some specimens, donated the soil, the treated soil, and then we did it and we built it. Was in 2 days that we could build it. We had a team. The community team worked before the meetings to build the rain gardens. The community team went there and, for example, they did the excavating of the place, the demarcation of the place, so that when we went to the workshop, we could just begin with the part that was more practical in the way of building it, not in the way of preparing it. So we had that beforehand work that was done by the community. The partners of the community, they received scholarships. We got them paid for doing that work. It was not 100% free. We had to value the work that were done. And then we built the rain gardens. It was in a day for the initial building and a second day just for the planting. Eventually, we did 1, 2, 3, 5 rain gardens in the region. We did some plaques to show that there's a rain garden, so people understand that there's something built in there. It's not just like, because while the plants are small, people can mistake it for just like a small hole, a beginning of a hole. And then we did the plaques, so people can understand the community is watching, the community is working together to better explain the rain gardens to others. And we also did an intervention, an urbanism intervention together with the school and the students, to expose on the streets, besides the rain garden, some messages about the importance of nature, of water, and why that rain garden matters. And we did that intervention with paint and the students, and they participated. We did some message where onde está o cerrado começa aqui, o cerrado starts here. So the importance of the water in the city is not going anywhere. That water is going back to nature. So it is important to understand that the water from the rain that goes in the streets, it's not just gone from the city. It has some place to go when it goes into the nature. So it continues a cycle that it's important to maintain. And we can do it by the way that we're accustomed to do, or we can do it by rain gardens. And the project, it intends to show that difference, but the importance of even having the two. And after all, we did the project, and now we're going to continue. The rain garden project is the rain garden constructions, and this specific project, it's closed. I forgot to put an image in here that I'm gonna open. We have a presentation. We have another publication that is coming out from this, where is it? We're gonna have another publication that is gonna cover all the theoretical and the practical components of the workshop, and also it's gonna let me open it. I'm gonna have to share another program. Let me go. Wait. Okay. Just to show it is in development. We're doing another publication that is gonna have all the preparation that went into the workshop. The we're gonna have it's gonna come out, I believe, this month, but it's gonna have all the before work that we've done. It's gonna have the technical components, everything that we teach, that we taught to the community, and also what they learned. So we're gonna have the results of the workshop, and this publication is intended to also go to the community. It's going to print it, deliver to the community, so they can also replicate the project in closer to the homes in all of some people that were not from San Vicente, so they can replicate in their hometowns. And we're gonna also publish it online so other people can access. And the proposition of the document, the publication, is that other communities can also use it to empower themselves to go after technical, to go after professionals. They be architects, so they can together develop rain gardens, develop other nature-based solutions in their cities to fight climate change and risk that we see so much in urban peripheries. I think it is it. Thank you.
Thank you, Beatriz. Thank you so much. Very interesting your case, what you have shared with us, and how good to see that it's you have managed to really to implement and make these connections between climate change, what are nature-based solutions for, and the risks that not only the territory, the physical territory, but essentially people are exposed to through these heavy rains that you have mentioned. Thank you so much for your presentation. We
Thank
will
you.
have a debate at the end of the four presentations. So then I will have a couple questions for you more about the process and this engagement and these dialogues that you have established with the communities. But first, I would like for us to have the next presentation. And it can also be from Brazil. Bruno, is it okay for you to present?
Of course.
Yeah, good. Then just before giving you the floor, sorry, I just for a moment, I'm missing your. So Bruno is graduated in Science and Humanities and International Relations at the Federal University of ABC. He was a volunteer researcher at the Observatory of Foreign Policy and International Insertion of Brazil. Also the academic coordinator in the simulation of international organizations and bodies, and a volunteer professor in the MONUEM project of the Office of Representation of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in São Paulo. And he has also, he has worked as an intern and is currently working in the open government coordination in São Paulo City Hall. So thank you once again, Bruno, for joining us. And well, I know a lot already about the super interesting work that you do there in the open government, but I'm very much looking forward to hear your presentation. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Isabel. I had made a presentation too, so I will share my screen. Just 1 second here. All right, I think everyone can see. So, good morning, good afternoon to everyone. Today we are going to show a little about our project here called Youth in Governments in Green Cities, with a project about civic education, open government, and sustainability, NBS. And we are show looking with integrate environment government with the open government agenda for sustainability public policy. Besides me, which Isabel already presented, my team is composed by Ricardo Daher. He is head of the training research team. Juliana Takamura, Technical Advisor of the Training Research Team here in Open Gov Coordination, Nathan Alvo, Intern in Training Research Team, e Laura Furkin, Intern and Training Research Team. These are the people who helping to develop, to think about this project, and so thank you very much to my team too. So first of all, we will start presenting what is open government because what we're doing here is a crossroad between open government and sustainability. So open government is a form of government centered in the citizen, promoting a collaborative process in the public policy cycle. So we give the voice, the knowledge to the people to really be integrated into the out cycle of public policy, since the formulation, the implementation, the monitoring and evaluation of the public policies is a cross-cutting agenda which presupposes coordinate work with the various municipal departments, different actors in civil societies, and open governance based in four principles, how to say, transparency, social participation, accountability, inclusion e innovation, always looking for social e civic innovation. Here in here we have a unit to do that with our
Excuse
unity.
me, Bruno, sorry for interrupting. We cannot see the full screen of your presentation, and we cannot see any slides changing.
Oh, you cannot see the slide changing?
Yes.
Just 1 second.
So for
Let
us,
me,
you are still in the first slide.
let me try again.
It looks the
Can
same,
you see?
but now
Can you
it's
see?
moving. Yes. Now you can
Now
see
it's moving.
Laura. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Uh, let's just, all right. So, just starting again, what is open government? Open government is a form of government centered in the citizen, which the objective is promoting a collaborative process in the public policy with you engage the population, everyone, in every moment of the cycle of public policies. So, since the formulation, implementation, monitoring, evaluation of public policies, it is a cross-cutting agenda because here we are more a facilitator. We talk with all departments like environment, like urban planning, to promote the open agenda in these finalistic departments e maintain a communication with different actors of civil society. To do that, here in São Paulo, we have a specific unit, which is our unit called Open Government Coordination, which is responsible to support public policies which promote the open government here in São Paulo, and collaborates with civil society government departments to reach this objective. So what we do here is open the municipal public policy cycle, fostering the cooperation between citizens and the state, improve the pillars of transparency, social participation, accountability, inclusion, and diversity in our city hall. And of course, it's impossible to not talk about open government without thinking about sustainable engagement of population in a participative government in this transition to a more environmental friendly world. So here in Open Government Partnership, we have this mission to think about how can you go to this thematic to the population who is affected by this climate change, by the climate impact, and engage them to think with us about how can we make better of this situation. And this offers a series of opportunities and key aspects to reach this objective. The first one include new actors, citizens, civil society organizations, or to public departments through active listening and research about sustainable and cross-cutting public policies, adapting through learning, experimentation, and monitoring of progress. So the initiative about the tackle climate change can reach different territories, spaces, publics, and bring the vision of these people affected directly with that to us, generate a network of experiences. Is a possibility or opportunity to promote empowerment to the citizens through learning, align the pillars of government with the sustainable agenda. So we bring cases to the people reflect about that. They bring the experiences to how can we find the solutions collaboratively about this problem. And with
Bruno,
trans...
desculpa
Oh,
interromper, mas acho que não está passando de novo os slides.
pass... No?
Yes.
Oh,
No, it's
thank you.
okay.
Sorry, I don't know what's happening, but of course. And it's a possibility with we can strengthen the local dimensions in the public policies, considering the particularities, needs, demands, and dynamics of the territories. So, the objective of our project is not just talk with the population, but to focus in the youth population, because the youth population is the part of the change. The youth population have a essential develop a flexibility, creativity to propose new solutions and to foster a network in their localities. So we have a game with focus in engage this youth population to bring solutions, to think about the problems and how the sustainability uh, solutions based in nature can help in this question. So in this context, helping government coordination develop a formation with the goal of connecting with young people in the city of São Paulo about the public policy, sustainable agenda, encouraging their active participation in the development of critical thinking and the strength of the whole youth leadership, but not just a formation, but a process with its exchange, a dynamic process of reflecting, of working together. And this project is called Youth in Government, or in Portuguese, Juventude em Governo, which is an educational process for the youth with the objective of educate the youth in public administration matters, increase their social participation in the public policy, connecting theory. So uh, beforehand, we show what is open government, what is NBS, what is the importance of that, what the impact of the climate change, and you put them to play a game called What If I'm Mayor, Se Eu Fosse Prefeito, which they assume the role of as mayor of a cabinet of the city to think about solutions. So everything they learn in the theory they are challenged to apply in the practice way with the game. And during the game, they recognize the same challenges in their lives, in their regions, in the game with which we are applying. And it is this project having a plain language certification. So it is recognized to be a simple way to transmit the information to the youth. How is this related to TRANS-lighthouses project show? Is the opportunity to explore the challenges of climate change in people's everyday life, drawing on their own experiences. Sometimes in the beginning of the formation, we ask, oh, are there some problem in your region about climate change? Some youth people say no, is everything fine. But when we show what is happening, when we show the impact, when we put the cards for the player, they understand. There is a lot of impact is in every day. He's not reflect. They don't reflect yet. Is the opportunity to present nature-based solutions in a clear and practical ways as a public policy for addressing adaptation challenges, e ability to create a wide variety of scenarios, introducing participants to new realities, understanding how climate change affects each group or region in a specific way. So we made this adaptation of the process of the youth government to look into sustainable NBS solutions. And how this game works, we divide every with the youth in groups. Each group receives 7 theme cards that defines the reality of the city. So the theme cards contain descriptions about the positive and negative points about the city, and they also receive advantage and a setback card. So we construct a complex scenario with a lot of challenges because they need to think what is the relations between the challenges and how they will tackle the challenges. For take the challenges or to resolve the challenges, they receive a public budget defined by 5 random money cards. So we have a lot of variation between the public budget of every group. And every group needed to find a way to resolve the situation with that. With the budget in hands and the knowledge of the city demands and necessities, the group needs to deliberate. So they are the cabinet of the mayor, and define items and services they will acquire to solve the public problems. The public problems are listed in a price table, and they also can buy open government cards que will give advantages. So here is the image of the game, the board is of the game. And here is the cards. So we have 7 cards based in seven categories. The first one is population. So every city have demographic characteristics in the groups living in the city, in terms of age, in terms of vulnerability of the people. We have a card of education, transport, environment, sport, culture, relation, health, urban planning. And every card, as you can see here, have a description with data or some indicatives about the advantages or some problems with the city is living nowadays. Beyond the
Bruno, sorry to interrupt. Just to let you know that 15 minutes have gone already.
gone already,
So that you have, yeah.
I'm just finished.
Okay, okay, okay. I thought that there were many more slides. Thank you, thank you. Please continue.
Thank you. So we have a card about advantages that and the problems with the city have to turn the process more dynamic. We have the money, of course. So there is a lot of variation of money. Every group needed to find a way to manage this money. Here is our table of prices, table of costs, sorry. And here we have a lot of public policies. Some are more sustainable, others not. And the group needed to look out for these solutions and decide if you're going to invest in a more sustainable or not, what's the impact, is buying some of these public policies, which problems of the city we are resolving. And we apply some other dynamics in this game, like share policy dynamics. So a group of cities can buy together a public policy because we want to show them the climate change do not respect frontiers, so they need to cooperate with other cities. We put a green policy label, so the groups will invest more in green policies, gain a label. And we start using a short, long-term scoring scale because of the impact of the public policy in short and long term. But we find out that this is very difficult to apply because it's a very complex thing. Here we made a series of projects pilots, 5 projects pilots in the last year with different publics, youth apprentices, public employees to know what they think about the game. So the game was very well received by them. Here's some relates about the impact of the game in this public. Like, yes, I learn more about public policy, how to apply it in everyday life. Yes, because it helps develop teamwork skills. Yes, because the game's methodologies allows for comparisons with the reality where relieve what can be done. Here's some images of we applying the game in some occasions. And here are some learnings, the conclusions we take of this game. So projects like that can demonstrate the open government agenda can potentialize the construction of more sustainable public policies. We can empower the people to live and construct their territories, respect the local dynamic resources. Natural-based solutions, open government practices are fundamental tools for youth empowerment and for youth engagement. And social participation sustainability can be viewed cannot be viewed separately because we need to sensibilize the people about that. So this is presentation. Sorry to the
Oh, no,
time.
no, that's fine. That's fine, Bruno. Thank you so much.
It's my
So
pleasure.
good to hear again about your about the game that you have developed. I think it's a really good tool. We are also, as you know, we had already the opportunity to exchange about the game also that we have produced here. It's really a very, learning by playing tool at any age, but with youth, I think it's even more, let's say, more difficult sort of target group. It's a very difficult target group to engage. So I think gaming, it's always playful, joyful, and at the same time, it's a very good, very powerful learning tool. Thank you so much for your presentation.
Thanks, Isabel.
Then I would maybe give the floor to sorry, just a second, to Lionel, maybe. Would that be okay?
Hello,
To present now? Good for you?
good for me.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting us the floor available. So
Yeah.
we
Can I just
prepared
give
this.
a brief presentation, or you want to
Sorry.
do it yourself?
Oh, you can go. You can do it.
So Lionel Franco is head of the Climate and Transition City Unit of the City of Brussels. Together with his team, he works to transform the territory and urban practices in order to achieve a resilient and carbon neutral city by 2050, supporting the municipal administration, private actors, and citizens along this transition through the development of plans, innovative projects, and awareness-raising actions. He is trained as a sociologist and is also a guest lecturer at the Haute École ESFSC, where he teaches the course City Policies and Social Work. Now, yes, the floor is yours, Lionel. Thank you for joining us.
you for letting us join. We prepared this presentation with Florence, who is the project coordinator of the TRANS-lighthouses the Brussels part of the TRANS-lighthouses EU project we are collaborating into. And what we wanted to do here is reflect on how we used like the NBS and the whole participatory way of working for more sustainable rainwater management in Brussels. And so we will present some tools, some experiences we made in Brussels. It doesn't move. Good. So first, what we need is more integration and more policy coherence thanks to NBS. And we think that NBS has the opportunity. They have the opportunity to become more than just something that we will experiment. For now, NBS are a lot of times like pilots that we will use in like innovation policies and this kind of projects. Because lots of public authorities will think that, yeah, okay, we do already something about nature, but doing nature is not the same that doing nature-based solutions. Doing nature-based solutions is about taking care of the various dimensions of nature, of climate, of adaptation. And what we think here at the city with Florence and our colleague is that we can align climate, biodiversity, and urban policies, and we are trying to do so one project at a time. And to do so, we need more embedding of nature-based solutions into national adaptation plans, more embedding in funding schemes, and also there is this kind of project and working on nature-based solutions is a good opportunity to try to reduce policy contradictions and to try to solve these. And how to solve these? Thanks to like these very practical experiments. Working on nature-based solutions will arise practical issues and will give opportunities to like correct the reality and to correct how we manage things. For instance, we have this Brussels climate plan, and we are so proud of this plan because it helps us to have like goals and to be able to we monitor it. We make a annual evaluation of the plan, and nature-based solutions are progressively becoming one dimension of the plan and something that will challenge other dimensions inside of the plan. And also we have this very ambitious like participatory program inside of our climate plan. Another way we can use more NBS and use it like an opportunity for transformative governance is by using it to work more in a cross-sector and multi-level governance. There is collaborations needed, and having this kind of words concepts like NBS that are known, well known, and each year the concepts are better known, allows to discuss, to have a starting point for discussion. So it allows to talk to other people that will use other concepts, like daily concepts. We all have like concepts linked to what we do on a daily basis, and having this kind of more abstract concepts like NBS will help us to have better dialogue with the social society with other administrations. And what we see also is that forcing ourselves to not just talk about trees or not just talk about agriculture, but to talk about how nature can be the base to work toward more adaptive public policies in cities. It helps us to have more complementary, more integrative public policies. For instance, some colleagues here in our unit are working on geothermal energy and how to increase the potential of for instance, a park in Brussels. And we had this whole discussion about, of course, working with the people in a participatory way, but also how can we maximize both having lots of trees in surface and having the best potential of geothermal energy inside of the ground. And so taking into account the whole perspective is very useful, and it's helped by this NBS perspective. Some of the very important dynamics are financing mechanism. We need more. For now, NBS are still very closely related to like innovation and webinars. And thank you for organizing this kind of webinars. But if not now, in the following years, it has to become like an opportunity for to be more integrated in how public policies are funded. We need more incentives to work towards the integration of the various dimensions included in NBS. We need more incentives for ecosystem restoration, for trans dimension work. And yeah, it's in a way it's a win-win solutions, because we all know that there is this thing called carbon tunnel vision. Yeah, right. And we know that everybody is like very specialized today, and that we can do biodiversity project or climate project or water management project. But starting from how is nature functioning here, how are the people using and interacting with the space, and how can we work with the existing situation towards more nature and more ecosystem services. That's very important, and it can increasing the fund for that will eventually reduce. We are very convinced that it will eventually reduce the cost of public intervention, the cost of to infrastructures. What we saw here in Brussels is that we have this flooding issue. So we are it's one of our main climate risks, and we want to work on more sustainable rainwater infiltration measures, because we saw that the cost of these alternatives that can be organized by the municipalities for our own buildings, on our own places, buildings, but also at the citizen level or the private companies level, everybody can do its own part to have impact. The cost is less expensive than developing new storm water infrastructures, bassin. So, for instance, we are giving like financial incentive to people who will disconnect a roof, or who will have green roofs, or that will create a rainwater garden in their next to their house. And we saw, okay, it's a little strange because we are giving public money for like private intervention at the people house or in the garden of a company or so. But eventually it costs less of public money, and it helps us to have better impact on this kind of a very concrete climatic risk. And we saw that thanks to the Transformative project, working with the people in a very concrete way. And Florence, who is also here today, she's working with the people, having participatory opportunities, and with colleagues too, so that we can understand what do they need, what are the locks that we have to unlock, and how can we, as a public authority, unlock everything. And we have lots of opportunities, but working with this NBS scope will help us to transform the reality thanks to the levels we have. First, the participation. As I said already, talked a little about participation, but it was in this Translators project in one part of the city of Brussels. Co-diagnosis, co-design, implementation, everything was co-done. Governance monitoring. It was not just about talking to the people about what do you want, but it was about building the change for the neighborhood on a very technical and specific environmental issue like climate risk with them. And what we saw is that for instance, we worked with high school students in the school, an architect, and we made this whole co-design and co-implementation process, so that the students and the teachers could vote between different scenarios co-built by them and the architect and the public servants of the city of Brussels. And it works. Eventually it works. It takes a little more time. It takes to be innovative, and this kind of a EU project like Translators offers opportunities to do so. But at the end, it's very concrete for us. Yes, and also what we see is that NBS are an opportunity to bring on the table more expertise, more knowledge, and to share it. And what we see is that most of the time there will be misunderstanding, some lack of knowledge or a lack of sharing knowledge, because lots of people will have like their own knowledge, and once you offer opportunities to the people to share knowledge, you will find some very passionate citizens, very passionate experts, and when we can regroup all these people, we can start structuring and finding ways to also allow less expert people to develop their own skills, even on these like technical topics. And what we see is that NBS open opportunities to train planners, policymakers, citizens, civil society. So it's very opening opportunities. It creates for us like daily connections between experts, institutions, and citizens, civil society, as I said. And what we think is that we need to continue to standardize NBS, and so that we can develop common ways of working that will always have their own reality at a concrete level. But I mean, what is concrete is always concrete. So you don't need to standardize everything, but having like this conceptual framework that you can start by working with nature at what nature will imply and show you, and to work with the people helped us a lot. Yes, and what we did, and that's my last point, is that we created this opportunity via public tender. We worked with architect expert in water management, so that when we have a big company or just a decent company of a group of citizens, a school, that will say, oh, we saw what you are doing, and we have this roof, and maybe we could also do sustainable water management. We'll say, no issue. That's our team of experts. They will come to you, they will do a visit, and they will assess the potential. And so it was also a way of, we also see that it costs a little, but it costs less than big infrastructures. And also it has co-benefits regarding water management and climate risk awareness. So I think that's all for us, and Florence, with daily working with the people in this Brussels neighborhood, is also here for questions at the end. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lionel. Well, it's very clear that you have already a lot of experience, and you bring us a kind of policy overview on what are the challenges and what are the opportunities to extend the projects that you are doing to a more policy level approach. Thank you very much for your presentation. I'm sure there will be questions for you, but before that, I would go first for the presentation related with the pilot case in Rome, where Dorotea is working at, and she can let us know about how is that process going on. So just a second, please. I'm having some technical issues on my side, and I'm not being able to see. Okay, I think now I can see. So I will start by very briefly presenting Dorotea. She is an architect and postdoctoral researcher at Sapienza University of Rome in Italy. Her research focuses on public space and nature-based solutions, exploring their role in contemporary urban transformation. Alongside her research activity, she has contributed to teaching and academic programs in architecture and urban design at various international institutions. So nature-based solutions are very much at the heart of your work. Thank you, Dorotea, for joining us, and the floor is yours.
Thank you very much for having me. First of all, I apologize. My voice is not at the best, as you can see, as you can hear, actually. So I'm afraid I'm going to be a bit brief, or at least I hope I'm going to be brief. But I'll be happy to answer any kind of question you have later on. So I have a presentation that I want to share with you, even though I realize that maybe this is more like, can you see that?
Yes, but you are not in presentation mode.
It's not presentation mode. Wait, let me see if it works.
And then if you want to already test if you're yeah, now it is.
Now it is in presentation mode.
Yeah.
It moves. Okay, great, fantastic.
Yeah.
Basically, what I'm going to tell you is a bit of the story of this process that is happening here in Rome. For those who are not familiar with our project and with our pilot in Rome, pivotal background information is to know that co-governance and participation is not particularly mature as a scenario in Rome and in this second municipality where we are working. This is due to many different cultural and political bias. Nevertheless, we had to overcome and find a solution to bring along a certain level of co-governance and participation with the tools and the possibilities we had in this particular area, in Rome, in this particular area in Rome. But a bit of background information. So what are the research assumptions of this project? So this basis, the idea is that universities are microcosms in the cities, and they have an importance, a pivotal importance on open public spaces, and university have a pivotal role in well-being, learning, and fostering community development. This kind of assumption goes back farther in our university. Alessandra Capuano, who is the API for our pilot, studied for a long time the concept of caring for the cities, and so the idea that we both care for the city and the city provides care and cure for us. This saying that this has to be understood within a concept of universities as spaces of care. But why are we focusing specifically on the role of university? This is because Sapienza is the largest university in Europe. It has more than 100,000 students, which means that basically it's a tiny town, a well-established city or town, at least for Italian standards, within the city of Rome. It has a widespread campus, so it you can find campus of Sapienza around many different areas of Rome. Now I'm going to show you where. And Sapienza is also inserted in a urban context marked with deep contradictions in terms of how many cars, travel time, lack of public mobility, maintenance of public spaces, and generally speaking, Sapienza reflects a general low level of quality of life that impacts the city of Rome. So another element to be aware of is that universities are important drivers, both in terms of economy, but also in terms of physical development of the city. Especially in Rome, we have 3 main public universities, and they impacted very much the transformation of the cities throughout the time. And finally, the point is that Sapienza's campuses can generate systemic action of transformation and redevelopment of the city, which can benefit the entire city. So, as I was saying, this is an image coming from this previous research, where you can see how spread and how vast is the impact of the city, the several campuses of Sapienza in the city of Rome. Within this research, this previous research, it has been highlighted how very next to the city town, the university campus of Sapienza, there has been a vacant lot in the street of Via de Lollis, which has been a perpetual terrain bag since the very beginning of the very establishment of the neighborhood of San Lorenzo, which is the neighborhood next to the campus of Sapienza. So what we realize is that the impact of the redevelopment of a public space through the lenses of a university campus can impact many aspects of the well-being of the citizens, the students, and the population at large, which are comprised in terms of socialization and collaboration, well-being and mental health, accessibility and inclusivity, fostering learning, intended as spaces, as living laboratories, where it can be encouraged the experiential learning and place-based education. So let's dive a bit more into what is the pilot in Rome and what are we doing. So the objectives of our pilot were twofold. On the one hand, the transformation of this vacant lot in the area next to Sapienza University, an area which is shared, whose ownership is shared by the second municipality of Rome and Sapienza University, and transform it in a green public space, plus the interpretation and implementation of the idea of the green classroom. Why the green classroom? This was one of the goals that the second municipality per se included in some of its goal for the development of the second municipality. So where were we? We had this vacant lot, vacant for more than 100 years, which have been subject to multiple projects with different kind of objectives from the municipality, from the citizens, and nothing has never actually been built. Why? Because in this vacant lot, there is another element that is particularly typical to the Roman landscape, which are the archaeological remains. So, I'm sorry, Rome is at the same time blessed with an incredible history, but the presence of these archaeological remains, let me drink.
Take your time.
My bad, sorry.
No, thank you for your effort.
We can do it. I'm sure we can do it. So, as I was saying, on the one hand, we have the blessing of this kind of history. On the other hand, the presence of the archaeological remains hinder a lot of developments, especially the one related with nature, because there is the scare, there is the, I would say, the superintendency for the heritage is pretty much concerned that the planting of trees and plants can destroy the archaeological remains through the roots and the degradation of the soil. So what happened? Sapienza started to discuss with the second municipality about transforming this public space into a garden, which was already a desired expressed by the citizen of the area. The conversation verges onto the need to create a space that includes not just space for relaxing and spending time outdoor, but also to create a space for learning about nature and in the nature, and which would be in close contact with the existing archaeological remains. So using the archaeological remains also as element of learning. The fact that Sapienza was part of this Horizon project, so both the expertise behind it and also the funds that we had with participating in this project, entice the second municipality in the possibility to explore a different way to approach the development of the area. So rather than having their technician, which still lack a bit of the expertise, of the sensibility, also of the time to take care properly of such a complex area, the second municipality appointed Sapienza for the design of the area. At this point, Sapienza had to work on, let's say, two parallels kind of approach, because unfortunately, participatory processes and co-governance do not always meet the same kind of timeline that we would like to have as an ideal roadmap. So what we had to do, on the one hand, we worked with the superintendency and with the second municipality, try to understand how to develop the garden. On the other end, we included students, stakeholders, local communities, and citizens to try to develop different interpretations of a specific kind of NBS, which is not the only kind of NBS that will be included eventually in the garden, but is one particular type of NBS, which is the one of the green classrooms, which embeds somehow the idea of learning in the nature and with the nature. So, what happens, like rushing a bit, because I guess it's going to be otherwise too long, we created a workshop with the students, architects, landscape architect students, and PhD students. We invited a lot of different experts in the field of agroforestry, architecture, landscape architecture, engineering, education, psychology, art, to work with them, basically. So to teach them whatever they didn't know and also to work with them. We gave the students these 3 areas that you see. One is the one in Giardino di Via de Lollis. The other 2 are still next to the Sapienza University and within the second municipality, but there are different spaces. And we asked them to think about what could a green classroom be. So a green classroom, there's no final agreement or a definition of what a green classroom could be. And this is at the same time an element of interest for the research and an element of potential, because there are many kind of different interpretation of what this could be. Because of course we can talk about sustainability, well-being, environmental awareness, connection to nature, healthy learning condition, engaging with environmental issues, formal, informal, and non-formal learning, different interpretation of learning in, from, and within the environment. What did we do, basically? So here again, some of the aspects that can be improved through the engagement of especially young and youth with nature, also for learning. Of course, we can address societal challenges, improve attention, memory, and academic performances, foster pro-environmental attitudes and ecological awareness, reduce stress, reduce disparities in education and health outcomes. So we created a process of, let's say, co-creation for this green classroom, which again worked in 2 different ways. On the one hand, we worked with students, children of the 5th grade of the local school. We had walk through with them in the areas. We had them working, studying the kind of different ecologies they could find inside the space, learning about the archaeological remains of the area, and having them doing a session of a workshop, let's say, giving interpretation with their own tools, of course, of what a green classroom could be. On the other hand, we engage, let's say, slightly older youth, so university students, to have what we let's say, to use a methodology that is embedded in architectural studies, which is the architectural design workshop. So an intense period of 3 months where they learned, they designed, they discovered different interpretation of green classroom and so forth, and finally they produced 5 different kind of projects. So here are some of the highlights of this process. We had the walkthrough, we had this moment of teaching, let's say informal teaching with the students in this area. We had them drawing, writing, using post-its, I mean, interacting with us, telling us different stories. They came out with 4 different interpretations of what a green classroom could be, which were the sensorial garden, the gym class, the herbal labyrinth, and oh my God, I'm missing the 4th. And the science lab, like having focusing on the ecology like a scientist. On the other end, and this is like the results, this is a science lab, the Aula Scienze, that gave us a lot of information, ideas, say interpretation that were outside our understanding somehow, especially, I mean, because we are a bit older than them, and so we have a different kind of outlook at to the situation. And then we had this 3 months workshop with the students that I mentioned. And this was, again, very interesting. We visited different interpretation of studying and working in the nature. This is the one by this artist that is here on the left, on the right, Andrea Conte, who's an engineer and an artist, and he's creating this round shape Aule Verdi, green classroom, and he taught us about this. We visited another one that has been nearly opened on the Tiber River, and they learn about the possibility of having also a different perspective, so shifting from the normal level from where you see the river and going down next to the river and so forth. They worked with local stakeholders, they interviewed them, they had, let's say, like a focus group with them. So we had teachers, local politicians, representatives of parents association of the neighborhoods, telling us what were their needs, their intention, their worries, their concerns, and so forth. They came out, so the students came out with this 5 project. So the first one is a modular green classroom where you can use this module to create different shapes and embed them in the landscape. The second one, it's a syntropic garden, so a different way of intending also the agriculture to become a learning space. Then we had one that worked a lot with the idea of land art somehow, so having a space modified in a way that becomes a bit of an auditorium and allow you to have spaces for events, teaching, concerts, and so forth. The first one was a bit, let's say, interested in the idea of Zen as an approach to life. And so they developed an idea of having a space where you can relax. Besides learning, like formal learning, you can also learn how to meditate and so forth. And finally, we had the fifth one who was more interested in having like a path. So the green classroom intended like actually a path rather than let's say, a physical space where you would learn about the different trees, different species, and so forth. As I mentioned before, we had 2 parallel, let's say, processes, let's say. While the students were doing that, DIAP, so the Sapienza University was designing the garden in Via de Lollis. This is the results of the final project, which the executive project for the area, and it includes 2 interpretations of green classrooms, which are, one is this slope, which recalls the one I just showed you with the land art kind of project, and the second one is this very long red wall that you see here, which is hatched with the old story of the archaeology that exists within the space. Then there are, of course, other kind of NBS. I told you there are also systems like all the trees you see here. They are going to be encasted within a net that prevents the roots from damaging the archaeology that works beneath. So this is an element of NBS because it's a technological aspect that allows us to use trees, for instance. And to conclude, what I wanted to tell you is that right now we are in the the project is right now on hold at the municipality level, because they are doing the bidding for the tender for the contractor to build the garden. But we are going further with the development of the idea of green classroom, since the second municipality was so enthusiastic of the project, of the work that has been done, that they told us that we can build two examples of the first green classroom I show you, the one with the module. So this one. Oh, sorry. This one. So we are going to develop an executive project of this interpretation of the green classroom with the students again and with a youth organization, and we are going to place them in two places, two additional areas in the second municipality. That is to say that somehow we are looking also at the element of scalarity of the project. I mean, from one element trying to replicate it into different aspects in different places in the municipality. And with this, I conclude. I hope it was understandable due to the voice, and I thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, Dorotea, for the great presentation on the governance complexity in Rome. You had already shared with us this kind of thoughts and reflections about so many layers that you have to deal with. It's a substantial part of the job. To have nature-based solutions in place is to really deal with all this complexity. Thank you also for the wonderful experiences that you have shared with us, including the work with the students. I would now open the floor to let's say a debate between between the speakers, for sure, if you want to put questions to one another, and also questions from our audience to the speakers. I don't know if there is some question or comment already popping up. I do have one or two, so maybe I can start. I would start with maybe for the same order, and I think we have a very nice composition of cases, in the sense that you all work with urban areas, but they still are very different between themselves. So we have huge metropolitan areas, we have peripheral areas, historical urban centers, and the capital of country too. So different layers composing these urban places, and so also different layers in terms of governance. I think the question that I would like to bring, let's say, a generic question to all of you is, what are the dialogue formats that were more useful in your case, considering the scale of the urban space that you are working, the scale and this kind of characteristics of the cities that you are working with? This would be a transversal question for all of you. And then I think I would like to hear a bit more from Beatriz. How did you reach out to the community that you worked with? For how long was the dialogue that you have established with this community? What different formats of participation or what would you say that were the most relevant ones for this specific territory that you have presented to us? And then for São Paulo, I think I'm very curious to know what is the impact, Bruno, and that you and your team that you feel in your day-to-day life in your work at the Open Government of São Paulo. What is the impact that eventually that you feel already? We know that these processes take a long time when we want to people to participate more and to be more close to the work that we do. It's not an easy pathway, but still, I think I would like to hear from you if you feel already some impact from all the actions that you have been doing for the past years with youth. And then for Sapienza, I think I would like to ask if you think, Dorotea, that the role of Sapienza changed in the context of urban regeneration projects, if this project had that kind of role in the interactions that you have with the other organizations and or let's say with other institutions and cultural ways of not I would say that organizational cultures. That's what I want to say. If you think that the approaches that you have followed and implemented in TRANS-lighthouses, if they have somehow changed the way that Sapienza acts in this kind of project. And last but not least, to Lionel, I would like to ask how I think you have already your presentation shows already that you have sort of recommendations ready to be done to the policymakers, which is amazing. I think I would like to hear from you. How do you see like doing a zoom out in processes like TRANS-lighthouses? You mentioned, for instance, training for policymakers, but how do you see that this kind of process where we have European funding? So in order to have European funding for nature-based solutions, there was a whole cycle of certainly of research and good practices that opened the door to this kind of projects. And now we are testing solutions and we are also providing lessons learned and on best practices, and we are feeding again into policy. How do you see this political cycle, especially because you are in Brussels? So in my imaginary, it's always very close. Probably it's not so close. But how do you see these linkages and now moving to the end of the project? Well, we have planned already for a final event dedicated to policy, where we want to also to address these kind of topics. But what are the bridges that you see that are already there or that should be there or that could be complemented to support this kind of project? So, initial questions, a lot already. Sorry for that. Who would like to start? I'm not going to put pressure in any of you. Maybe there's a volunteer. No volunteers.
Maybe
Yeah. Oh, thank
maybe
you.
we can start so you can.
Thank you.
I mean, there is a part of improvisation. Question asked, first answer. So be indulgent. We don't have so much contacts with EU institutions, even if they are close. Like geographically, we are like municipalities, so close to the field, close to very operational issues. And what we see, there is also like a need of stability, you know, because the concepts, this very huge concept like NBS, they will have like some fame, you know, and they will start to. It's the same like the sustainable development goals. There will be a rise of their success, and eventually they will finish like crashing out, and yet the issues will always be the same, and we will create a new concept, new words to talk about like the same, not maybe the same, but close related issue. So I think from the point, and I get the whole thing, because from a point of view of communication, it's good to rebrand things. From a point of view of innovation, it's good to innovate or to look like innovation. I mean, it depends, but novelty is being new is always evaluated in these fields. For political communication, also, it's important to renew what you say, the word you use. But I think to create like bridges and to create like opportunities to work with the people, to make the connection between concepts and practice, it's important that there is enough stability. And even if 1 minute ago I just criticized the crushing of the sustainable development goals, they had the opportunity to have a long life of existence, and I believe there is enough potential in NBS so that it can nurture, feed lots of actions, lots of working with the people. And yet at this point, I have the feeling that it's starting to become less than only a very abstract concept, and more like something that can already be used to work with the people. I don't know if Florence has something to add on this topic.
No, I just wanted to add on and answer the first question that you asked, Isabel, about dialogue format. It's not nothing to that other question, but I wanted to say that in the participatory process that we put in place, we really put an emphasis on dialogue, especially citizens, and the process was always to present everything, to embark everyone, and to just, and then to leave the floor to citizens, to always remain at their disposal, and to really create this kind of safe place where everyone is able to take the floor, share ideas, etc. So that was the first question about how we manage the dialogues within the project.
Thank you. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Dorotea?
Try and answer your question about Rome, which is I would say it's a very important question. I am not completely sure I have grasped completely the situation yet to give a final, let's say, answer to that, but let's try to. So my understanding, my interpretation right now is that Sapienza, or at least our department, which led this project, has gained a kind of confidence about a different role that it can place in the urban dynamics, at least of the areas surrounding the university, towards which it has the responsibilities also to care about, which is something that at university level at least has never been very much acknowledged. Let's say it's Sapienza has always tended to be a bit in words, being very large, impacting very much surrounding neighborhoods with gentrification kind of problem, for instance. This approach that we experience this time seems to me that leads to a different understanding of from the municipality to the kind of help that a huge public university like Sapienza can give towards the development of the city, but also to the citizens to change their perspective about Sapienza as a huge entities caring purely about their own businesses, which are the one of teaching, researching, whatever that is, having more space for their students, so being a bit also obnoxious to their neighborhood. So rather than changing in the relationship with other institution, or yes, well, I would say it's a change in the relationship. It's especially, I would say, a change in the identity that Sapienza can have for future references when we are talking about development of public spaces, NBS, and so forth. So I think, I hope at least this is the situation, let's say.
Thank you, Dorotea.
May I?
Yeah, sure, Bruno. Go ahead.
I think for the first question, what are the dialogues formats used for in your case here in São Paulo because of the is a big city, huge metropolitan area. I think articulations with civil society. So we are taking a little step is through initiative of your team to talk with civil societies focusing in youth engagement, youth introduction into workspaces, some of these camps. It is helping to develop the capillarity of your project in these little rubs, as to say. We are gaining more access to institutional participatory spaces like public councils, but secretariats. So we have a lot of secretariats here in São Paulo. We have some project with youth. As for example, we have a human rights secretariat. We have a coordination to public youths. So they invite us to give it information, to give it a game to them. We have a civil office, for example. They have some initiatives with schools, private and public schools. So we are integrating this aspect, and we have a control body external of the city hall, is called Tribunal de Contas do Município. It's made to monitor the city hall, but they have a project called the Youth in the Social Control. So we are invited to apply the game there in these spaces beyond the city hall, the public administration for in itself. We talking about sustainability, we have advanced because our mayor, the management of this mayor is more aligned with the priorities in sustainability. So there are a lot of construction of rainy gardens, the other thing. There are projects to become São Paulo a greener city. So it's opportunity to our game in this contest to engage, to show the people in dialogue with the high administration about the importance of turning São Paulo becoming a green city,
Good.
and about the impact with youth, the work of OP government with youth. I think the main impact is the youth participation in your participatory budget. So São Paulo have a participatory budget called the citizen budget, and we use it again to incentivize the youth to go to our digital platform and to put proposals to the real investment of the city, to real participatory budget. So this is an important way. Is a way to dissemination other tools of open government, like your digital platform. So through our cards, through our game, they know there is the Participar with our digital platform participatory. And one interesting thing is we see a great interest of young people in pursuing a career in public administration. So we have some people, for example, some young people, we will apply the formation. We after that they become intern in the public administration. So this part awakening interest about how the public power works. Yeah, I wanted to make part of that.
Good, good. Thank you, Bruno. Thank you. Beatriz, would you like also to share some thoughts?
Of course. Let me put all my notes on here. So, how the dialogue that we used first in the project, as I said before, we, as a university laboratory, so we do research and extension projects, and we also are present in the community doing since I believe 2018, doing projects like the final projects of so you can obtain your undergrad degree. And we use the same methodology that we have in the laboratory, even in those final projects. That is community outreach and working with the community. So as we are in the considering that we are in the community since 2018, we already know a lot of people to this project, but initially we arrived in the community because of a demand that arrived to us from civil societies organizations and social movements. Generally, that's what they are the ones that we work together in the various communities that we do projects with. So usually that's how we get inside the communities. That's how we know the people. It's through civil social organization or social movements. In the case of Sonascente, initially it was a civil social organization that acts on what is the term that I'm trying to remember? Educação ambiental, with education about the environment education with children and school-age children. They were the first ones to reach to us. They have a protection in one of about the rivers, the rivers that cut through the Sonascente, and they approached us first, and that's how we began getting being ingrained in the community. For this project specifically, we worked with a school that we got to know them because of the previous project, because the school was pointed by the community as a place of security in case of flooding, in case of enxurradas, that I forgot the name, when the water comes too fast. So because the community appointed that place as a place of security, that they thought it could be a place, if their house is not safe, they could go to the school, because the school does a lot of community work. They do a lot of parties with the parents, and they understand that as a school in a community that's relatively poor, it is a place that people go because they need to. And so they pointed that place as a place of security, and we reached out to the school to do the project, to get to know more the work that they do, and to work more with the children. So that's how we reached out to the school specifically. That's where we did the workshop and where we worked and built the rain gardens eventually. And how we reach out to the community is ingrained with the school. They talk to the children about it. They teach at class about it, and the children then go to their houses and talk to their parents. that's a very effective way of reaching out to the people. We also have the social movements and the civil society's organization helping us. So they make pamphletagem, they distribute cards and paper telling about the project we had. As we said, this project is a continuation. So I'm telling various of the techniques that we use across the projects that we are doing. So we used cars that drove with the radios calling out to people saying we are going to do projects, that we're gonna have to workshops. We use WhatsApp. It's very effective here in Brazil. In Brazil, we don't use SMS or another form of communication. The most common one is WhatsApp groups. So we create groups with the community. We let the group be open. We put the code so people can invite each other. And then we put that on social media. We print it and put it on in the civil society organizations to say, are you interested in this? Join the group. And then in the group, we put the flyers that the same flyers, the same posts that we do for Instagram, to put on our Instagram, on our page to keep us accountable with the various organizations that help us. We also put that on the WhatsApp groups so the community knows what is going to happen, so they know when it's the next encounter. And one thing that also helps a lot is the understanding that the community and much of the people that are in peripheral urbanism, a lot of the times they don't have a complete education, but they want to learn. And when the university offers that, they are eager to get it. So we do an extension course in the university. We put that in the system. So when the participant does the course, the workshop, the project, whatever it may be, they can receive a certificate saying that they now learned about it as X hours. And that certificate makes a lot of the community engage in it, because they want to say, I have a certificate, I learned that, I know about that, and they can teach each other. So we realized that this certificate, the course, is a very good incentive. We have a lot of work having to do having to get all the information from the people, from the community, to put them on the system. We have many times we the team manually have to create a register for each person, and we get the data, because sometimes people in urban peripheries, they don't have access to internet, to computers, and sometimes the website doesn't work on mobile. So we get the job to us, but we realize that getting the certificate is a very good incentive to get the community to participate. And another thing that is really, really important, some of the the people that work on civil society organizations and some other organizations, they are also work as parliamentary advisors. So they work with the parliamentary that is local, especially in Zona Centro, work with deputado distrital that is local to Brasilia. So we can also get help in contacting through the parliaments, through the deputado, the deputy. We can contact the government organizations. So we can get donations, for example, by Terra Cap, that is an organization that deals with plants. So you can get donations of the plants we're going to plant, for example. And then the contact of parliamentary advisors and having a politician that can help us cut through that tape helps a lot in accelerating the process of getting some things donated from the government to the project. Essentially, we can get without them, but with them, it's faster. So we can get a project running more smoothly. And for example, in the case of Zona Centro, that we could do an extra model of the course. Having that contact guarantees that we can get, for example, the materials donated in a faster way. So it's organization that we work, like I said, the university, the society, the government. We try to put everything together to do a work that matters.
Wonderful. Thank you, Beatriz. Very inspiring.
Thank you.
Are there other questions, reflections?
Just a little question.
Lionel, you have to turn off your...
Sorry.
Yeah, good. Now we can hear you well.
We're in the same room with Lionel, so it doesn't help much. Just a little question for you, Beatriz. During your presentation, you mentioned a thesis about water-sensitive design for cities. Is the thesis published already? Is it possible to read it or not? Yes.
I was talking without unmuting myself. The thesis is from Lisa Andrade. She's a professor in university. Her thesis is from 2014. The thing is that the thesis is in Portuguese because it's from University of Brasilia. But it is online. It is public. We have the University of Brasilia has a repository where all of the theses done in the university are published there. I can get them and I can send it in the chat right now if you want to. It is a big thesis, but I can send it to you.
Thank you.
Paralampos, please.
Thank you very much for the presentation to all the speakers. My question, or maybe a consideration, would be of how do we formalize governance for the after project life, and how do we ensure that the communities that we have created during our projects that we have initiated, let's say, stay active and connected with the pilot after the project is done. I know it's a big discussion, which we have been already doing in the TRANS-lighthouses for the last 2 and something years. But I would love to hear the input from the speakers.
I think this is maybe a strong question for Lionel or Florence. I think you are for many years now introducing innovation. So I think the question is about how do they keep sustainable somehow throughout time?
How sustainable? I mean,
how is the institutionalization of the innovations that have been integrated throughout the years in different projects?
It's interesting because when you ask us this question, we are starting a debate with Florence in Brussels. It's interesting. I mean, there is no obvious answer to that. What we experiment as a local authority is that there is so much to do. You know, working on sustainability, for instance, it's not about just like one abstract concept of sustainability. It's working on greening public spaces. It's working with the people at the local level on greening or on water management, or working with hospitals on waste management and reduction. It's working with schools. So there is so much to do that we can always innovate in a way, and we can innovate thanks to the topics we will address, like new issues, new problems, new opportunities. We can innovate thanks to methodologies, new ways of trying to do things, trying to solve huge or new problems or newly observed problems. We can innovate thanks to with whom we will work. So, I mean, the whole question is, why do we not always innovate? Yeah, I don't know. But what we see also is that not every innovation that we will test in a EU project will have the. I mean, it's not because something is innovant that it's a good idea. And most of the time, sometimes it's obvious. I mean, or it should have been obvious. But most of the time, it's only by experiencing it that you will like test it. And I believe what's important is that we can create in this kind of EU project in the whole innovation policy of the EU these opportunities of feedback process, so that the test we have in some projects in pilot cities, the publications of the scientists in this kind of projects, that they can feed the reflection, and that we are not in a continuous loop of retrying the same innovation, or, you know. But inside of public policies here in the city, there is then some things that we will not continue after the pilot phase. Like, okay, we did that. We will make an analysis of what we did and what was the potential, why it didn't work, and we will do it with you, the researchers. Other things are, and that's the whole point. Things are like very obviously good. It helped. It improved what we are doing. It improved how we deal with environment, how we work with the people, how we address an issue. And I mean, it's not about, with a proof of concept, you don't have to fight that much to make it routinized inside of the institution. So I believe it's about choosing your battles. Some battles you have to retreat, and some others you just have to accept that it's a good battle, if it exists.
Thank you very much, Haralampos. I think I tried to summarize your question, but eventually there are some more details that you would like to ask again.
Well, I mean, I can understand from the side of the municipality that there is a clear path on how we can extract practices and implement them in the locality. But the truth is that not all the pilots are initiated from municipalities. And in our case, maybe that might help us as well, is how can we support somehow, or push the municipality to adopt, how can we present anyhow the benefits of the processes that we're developing to the municipality, so that, or to the community themselves, so that they can leverage that and adopt these methodologies. Because otherwise, I believe that after the Cyprus, for example, moves to the next project, let's say, and stops keeping track on the development of the TRANS-lighthouses pilot, we cannot be sure that there is a foundation that can keep the project alive, or at least the community. And maybe this come from experiences, I think, from Beatriz or Bruno as well.
I do have one example to share on this. So here at the City of Brussels, we also try to make the link between some mechanisms that are and the TRANS-lighthouse EU-funded project. For example, we propose for citizens water and biodiversity bonus. We mentioned earlier financial mechanisms to enable transformative governance for NBS. For example, the City of Brussels, for every citizen, some bonuses, citizens who implement green roofs, who put in place rainwater harvesting tanks, etc. This is something that exists, and with the project, we were able to really reach a lot of new citizens that would put in place some rainwater management disposal to really reduce the risk of flood, etc., etc. And kind of giving them incentives with this bonus. And this is something that will last, because now that we've spread a lot word, thanks to the TRANS-lighthouses project with the participatory process, etc., people know more about rainwater issues, about how important it is to work on this, and people know about mechanisms that the city of Brussels is also proposing to the citizens. And this is something that we hope will last in the long run. So yeah, there are links between what the city is doing, what the results of the project show us, and how we can integrate it, and also like have better policies in the long run, more adapted to the context and to the results of the EU project.
And if I may add, because we have this experience of not being able to make a continuity in the past in some EU project, there is some innovation that will be so far away of what a municipality, for instance, of what a community of a collective will be dealing. I mean, if some group is not dealing with something at all, like there is no connection at all with what innovation project will propose to them, probably it's difficult that it can survive after the pilot phase of the experimentation phase. But here we made this choice of working on a topic. We started to gain some expertise as a local authority. And so we knew we wanted to work on that. It was not just about doing this EU project so that we do something, but it was a way to really challenge our practices and to really challenge our policies. And so we made them evolved. And also we worked with the existing social structures in the neighborhood we worked, so that it was not trying to work with people, but it was offering an opportunity to people, and they were the ones who seized it. So we didn't pass a lot of time to create participation. We just offered a topic, I would say, and time, and a willingness to do so as a public authority.
Can I say something? It's regarding Radalampu's question, which is, it's not that I really have an answer, but it kind of got me reflecting on the different archetypes of participation, in which the different dimensions, and particularly the political civic dimension of the more cooperative model, the more cooperative it is, the better are the chances of it surviving the project. Because why? Because political civic dimension has also been worked upon while the project is being implemented. So if you're able to if working together, the different entities working together are able to somehow highlight the importance of having autonomy and deciding on it, because this is basically a question on how do you create ownership over, and it's not an easy question. It's very complex. So, but I would say that from the archetypes that we developed in the project, that the one particular dimension is very important, which is the political civic dimension. That it serves as a lens not only to analyze the dynamics, but it's also something that needs to be developed in order for a cooperative model of participatory governance to actually happen. So just a thought.
Thank you, Joanna. I don't know if Bruno or Beatriz, if you want to add some aspect more. We will have to close very, very soon, but just to conclude this cycle of comments.
I think just two things. I think it's how to consolidate, respond the challenge. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it correctly. But here we're trying to introduce our game integrate of the scholarship of the students in our secretariat of education. So we are trying a cooperation term with the secretariat. So uh, every school have a copy of the game. The teacher can take in the opportunity to apply that with our youth because in Brazil you have a national base of education it is educational base is like a national guideline. You have the social participation, yeah, public participation as an important tool in education. But how the teacher will use that is open to a choice. So we are trying to give it as an option to select our game to that. And so, of course, so we have it is the challenge because our initiative is more of the public municipality. We don't have it, the civil society co-creating with us this game. So, uh, sorry, I don't know. The last people who say about the cooperative to enhance it, to strengthen the public policy, we have it is this challenge because the civil society do not developed with us the game. So our way is to try to put in schools, let the teachers maintain the survivability of the game.
Thank you, Bruno.
Yeah. So first, I'm gonna just a observation about the thesis that I'm sending. It is from 2014, the thesis that I talked about briefly in the presentation. And I just want to say that the research of the thesis is trying to reach the gap between urban planning, urban design, and ecology. So through demonstrating how we can use urban ecosystems and manage the water flows in the city. I think it's a very interesting thesis, although it's in Portuguese, but yeah, I sent it to you in the chat. But after I can put in I think in the presentation that we have, I can put my email. So in case anyone has any doubts or want to reach out, so I'm gonna put my email in there because I believe everybody has how to see it, how to see it. And about the question about the ownership of the things that we do, we can see in that when we have the community co-creating the project, they are more willing to take care of it. So they did it and they want to see it thriving. It is a little bit different when the government just goes there and do it, because sometimes when the government just does it, sometimes they don't talk with the community and they are not aware if that is really solving a problem, if the community is expecting that. So when we do it the way we do, we see that the community has a lot more love for the project. And in the search of trying to implement even more, the laboratory, we're going to keep working with the community. We have a new project already together with the school, specifically focused on pedagogy of urban and ambience pedagogy. I'm gonna do my master's about it, so we can try to understand better how we can take the debate about NBS and about the environment to the school, so we can, instead of trying to correct a problem with people that are already doing things, we try to mitigate it with the school children so they can learn how to do it right, how to take care of the city, how to take care of the nature, and the children take it to the parents. That's a new way of approaching things that we're gonna try. for a new project that is going to last this whole year. And we believe and we expect that this kind of approach creates a community that is more engaged in maintaining and in seeking a difference in the urban territory, in understanding that they can change it together.
Thank you, Beatriz. Do you want to react briefly, Haralampos?
Just to say many thanks for your responses. It's been very helpful. And honestly, I think that education plays a major role as well in this process. And it's very good to see even the institutionalization of these kind of tools and processes within educational settings. And yes, again, thank you very much for the input.
Okay, so I will close this session. Thank you very much for attending the session. Thank you very much for the speakers for having shared your experiences, your reflections, your thoughts, and well, many thanks for the great presentations, and we will continue more, for sure, more exchange opportunities will come up soon well, tomorrow we have another webinar, of course, where we will have Haralampos talking to us about digital tools. But we will continue now, returning to the governance topic. We will continue to have the opportunity to do this North-South dialogues about governance. There will be policy briefs and papers, and you are, of course, very welcome to integrate the reflections also through those channels. So thank you very much once again, and I hope to see you tomorrow again in the coming webinars. Bye bye. See you soon. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Thank
See
you.
Bye,
you.
thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.